Alright, so if you are interested in just the solution, this is it. So when you create your UI button, you can modify this UISkin field here and set it equal to a new UISkin class or object. And then inside it, you can modify the text size so that it equals whatever number you want. And so the final solution looks like this. Now, if you're interested in knowing more about why the text is modified in this way, then continue watching. So if you look at the way that the UI button is implemented, you go down here. What I did was I just controlled F for this text field to see where it was used. So I found out that the text stuff is being modified over here. So this is basically where they modify the text view and change all of the various settings for the text. And here we see that there's this text size field. So I can tell from this code that this is where we need to look for to see like how to modify the text for the button. And it's coming from the skin property. So we go to the skin, we see that it references this thing called a real UI skin. So here we see that the real UI skin is an extension value property. And basically, when it is not set, it uses this default UI skin, which is this one up here. So the default UI skin is basically just like the default. Like it doesn't have anything set in it, basically. And actually, if you take a look at the UI skin class, this is essentially just a map of string to property value. Right, so here we see that there's this map here. So there's a bunch of different properties. And then we have the a set function, a get function. And yeah, that's basically it, essentially. So if we look back on this stuff, the way that it works is that when it tries to get the real UI skin, if it sees that we didn't have anything set, then it will return the default UI skin. So this is why in the main function you see that I created a new UI skin object right here. Okay, and then if you are ever curious about like what properties are being used, the way that you can tell is just by going back to this thing here and then control clicking the property that's being used on the skin here. So if I do this now, you see that it goes into this other thing with a bunch of extension functions, and you could see in this case that it is getting a skin property for this UI skinnable class, and I'm guessing that the default is 16 from what I'm seeing here. And each of these properties also has a set function. So when it's set, then it sets that skin property in the map to whatever value you provided. Now, I don't really understand why Soywiz or why Carlos decided to implement it like this, but yeah, this is basically how it works. The simple answer is that the UI skin stuff is just a map, and you can create your own map with your own properties, which is what I did here. So here, when I set it equal to 30, it is using this set function right here. And Yeah, so setting the skin property. So the UI skinnable interface is the thing that the UI skin implements. If we look back here, so UI skin, and you see here that it's just an implementation of the UI skinnable interface. All right, I hope that gives you a better understanding of the UIButton and also how the UI skin stuff works in Korge. Thanks for watching and have a good one.